Hi everyone, welcome back to TLC. Today's song review is Survival by Bob Marley and the Wailers, released in 1979. The song features on the Songs of Freedom album, alongside a complete album also called Survival in that same year. So, let's check out the lyrics, guys. Bob Marley starts off with the first verse by singing, "How can you be sitting there telling me that you care, when every time I look around, the people suffer in the suffering, in every way, in everywhere." The first verse relates to the people in power, who are making the rules of this world. Mr. Marley is speaking about poverty. These are some of the realities people are still experiencing. He talks about the suffering in the world. Bible verse, Psalms chapter 72, verse 12. "For he will deliver the needy who cry out, and the afflicted who have no helper. It will take pity on the poor and needy, and save the lives of the oppressed. He will redeem them from oppression and violence, for their blood is precious in his sight." He goes on to say, "We're the survivors, yes, the black survivors." I can relate this to the last two transatlantic slave trade survivors. The first being Matilda McCrear, one of the last survivors who died in 1940. She was transported across the Atlantic with her mother, Gracie, her three elder sisters, and the man who would go on to be her stepfather. Matilda's family was split up immediately when two of her brothers were left in West Africa. She would never know what happened to them. On arrival in the USA, Matilda was bought by Wilkes County slave owner Walker Craig, along with her 10-year-old sister, Celie and Gracie. Gracie was forcibly paired with Guy, another Cudjo survivor, while her two oldest daughters were bought by another slave owner, and she never saw them again. Then there's the story of Redoshi, another survivor. She was forced to become a child bride when she arrived in Alabama, and was bought by Washington Smith, owner of the Boogie Chitto plantation near Selma. She was enslaved for nearly 5 years. Her husband, Yawit, was kidnapped with her and died in 1918. Following emancipation, Redoshi continued to live with her daughter on the plantation where she was enslaved. She died in December 1936. For many years, the last ever survivor was believed to be a man known Cudjo Kossola Lewis. He was also known by both women. Cudjo Lewis brought to Alabama aboard the Clotilda, the last known U.S. slave ship. Lewis was born Oluwale Kosila, in which is now the West African country of Benin in Nigeria. A member of the Yoruba tribe, he was only 19 years old when members of his neighboring Dominion tribe invaded his village, captured him along with others, and marched them to the coast. There, he and about 120 others was sold into slavery and crammed onto the Cudjo, the last slave ship to reach United States. Lewis describes what it was like to arrive on a plantation where no one spoke his language and no one could explain to him where they were or what was going on. The Cudjo brought its captives to Alabama in 1860, just a year before the outbreak of the Civil War. Even though slavery was legal at that time in the US, the international slave trade was not, and hadn't been for over 50 years. Along with many European nations, the US had outlawed the practice by 1807. But Lewis's journey is an example of how slave traders went around the law to continue bringing over human cargo. To avoid detection, Lewis's captors snuck him and the other survivors into Alabama at night and made them hide in a swamp for several days. To hide the evidence of their crime, the 86-foot sailboat was then set ablaze on the banks of the Mobile Tensor Delta. The remains of the ship were uncovered in January 2018. Lewis's story provides a first-hand account of the trauma he suffered of slavery after being abducted from his home. Lewis was forced onto a ship with strangers. There, they spent several months together during the ordeal to get to America, but were then separated in Alabama to go to different owners. As for the Civil War, Lewis said he wasn't aware of it when it first started, but halfway through, he began to hear that the North had started a war to free enslaved people like himself, and began taking notice of the war. A few days after, General Robert E. Lee surrendered in April 1865. Lewis says that a group of the Union soldiers stopped by a boat on which he and other enslaved people were working and told them they were free. President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation was effective on January 1st, 1863. He declared that the enslaved people of the United States were to be set free. A list of the last surviving enslaved people in the United States who were born into legalized American slavery or enslaved prior to his passage of the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which abolished slavery nationally on December 5th, 1865, is now available to the public. This list contains the last known survivors in various states, which abolished legal slavery prior to 1865. Mr. Marley then goes on to say, "I tell you what, people got everything, some people got nothing, some people got hopes and dreams, some people got ways and means." This part describes the financial and economic gap that exists between the rich and the poor. He sings, "We're the survivors, yes, the black survivors, yes, we're the survivors, like Daniel out of the lion's den, black survivors, survivors." Bob Marley is referring to the biblical story of Daniel, who was thrown and imprisoned in the lion's den.
For disobeying Cyrus, Daniel is arrested and sentenced to death. The next morning, Cyrus realizes he's made a terrible mistake.
Sire, are you unwell? I haven't slept. Please God, I'm not too late. Sire, shall I call the physician? I've wronged my friend! Open it.
God is with you. Your God is real.
Your God has saved you.
Yes.
I am Cyrus, king of the world, and my judgment is this. Your people shall return to Jerusalem.
There God will be pleased. Though, sadly, they no longer have a temple to worship him in.
Throw him into the lions.
Bob Marley goes on to say, "So I Idren, I sistren, which way will we choose? We better hurry, hurry, oh hurry now, 'cause we've got no time to lose. Some people got facts and claims, some people got pride and shame, some people got the plots and schemes, some people got no aim, it seems." Bob Marley's prophecy is described here after his Natural Mystic song, which was released in 1977, just 2 years before the song Survival, which can be related to the recent pandemic, whereby some people are choosing whether or not to take the jabs. The medical use of marijuana has many facts and claims for survival. Here are some of them. Benefit number 1. It slows down and stops cancer cells from spreading, so on. Number 2, it prevents Alzheimer's. THC, the active ingredient present in marijuana, slows down the progress of Alzheimer's disease. Number 3, it treats glaucoma. Marijuana can be used to treat glaucoma, which increases the pressure in the eyeball. Number 4, it relieves arthritis. Yes. In 2011, researchers reported that cannabis reduces pain, inflammation, and promotes sleep, which may help relieve the pain and discomfort for people with rheumatoid arthritis. Benefit number 5, it controls epileptic seizure. In 2013, studies showed that marijuana can control epileptic seizures. It is found that the THC controls the seizures by binding the brain cells responsible for controlling excitable and regulating relaxation. Number 6, it eases the pain of multiple sclerosis. Yes, marijuana works to stop the negative neurologic effects and muscle spasms caused by multiple sclerosis. Number 7, it smooths tumors for people with Parkinson's disease. Recent study from Israel shows that smoking marijuana remarkably reduces pain and tumors and improves sleep for Parkinson's disease patients. Number 8, it helps Crohn's disease. Cannabis may be helpful with Crohn's disease. Crohn's disease is an inflammatory bowel disorder that causes pain, vomiting, diarrhea, weight loss. But a recent study in Israel showed that smoking marijuana considerably reduces Crohn's disease. Number 9, decreases the symptoms of Dravet syndrome. The Dravet syndrome causes seizures, severe development delays. With medical marijuana strain high in cannabis and low in THC. During the research for his documentary called Weed, Gupta interviewed the Fiji family, and according to the film, the drug decreased her seizures from 300 seizures a week to to just 1 seizure every 7 days. Number 10. It reduces side effects from treating hepatitis C and increasing treatment effectiveness. Treating hepatitis C infection has severe side effects. So, severe that many people are unable to continue their treatment due to the side effects. It ranges from fatigue, nausea, muscle pains, loss of appetite, depression, and they last for months. A 2006 study in a peer journal discovered that 86% of patients using marijuana successfully finished their therapies.
We have a holistic health center here that we've been running since it's about how many years now? Some couple from going to 7-8 years now. Now we had a problem with a lot of patients because, like example, your cancer patients, your chronic ailments, because we needed ganja, we needed cannabis as a main ingredient in most of the medicines that we use. Now because of that, it was difficult to go and obtain the herb or plant the herb because of fear of being criminalized. But now we have a freer access to it.
Bob Marley changes the chorus slightly by adding, "We're the survivors. Yes, the black survivors. Tell you what, we're the survivors. Yeah, the black survivors. Like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, black survivors. Thrown in the fire but never get burned." Bob Marley's singing about the 3 biblical Hebrew men that were thrown into the fire, described in the book of Daniel, after refusing to bow down and worship the image of Nebuchadnezzar, a man-made golden statue.
Will we ever return to Jerusalem? Jeremiah promised that one day we would. In the meantime, what do we do? Just bow our heads and serve this monster? I can't do it anymore.
Think about our people, Azariah. As long as we're in the king's court, we can help them. In prison or dead, we can't.
Nebuchadnezzar destroyed God's temple, forced us into exile. My name is Azariah, he who is helped by God. Well, I call upon God to help me now.
He'll kill you if you won't bow.
I will not worship that.
With all our hearts we follow you.
Bow your heads!
Seek your presence.
With all my heart I follow you. I fear you. I seek your presence. Bring them!
Oh, my friends, your faith will be tested now.
Daniel! What's wrong with them? Why will your friends not bow to me?
I assure you, sire, they will serve you faithfully, all their lives, as I will, but... But they will only worship God.
I will make them bow.
Follow you. We seek your presence. With all our heart, follow you. Seek your presence.
When we wish to bend something that is hard and unyielding, what do we do with it? We put it into the fire. Majesty, take him.
And we seek your presence.
Burn them! Majesty, no! Burn them! No! Bring him back! Bring on!
pray, do not ignore my tears. I am overcome by sorrow. I call upon the name of the Lord. Lord, save
Why do they not burn?
People of Judah, rise! God is with us! He's with us! God is with us!
He sings, So I Idren, I sistren, the preaching and talking is done. We've got to live up now, 'cause the Father's time has come. Some people put the best outside. Some people keep the best inside. Some people can't stand up strong. Some people won't wait for long. Bob Marley is making a statement that through history, a lot of preaching has been done, and the preaching is now done, because the Lord's time has come. Bible verse, Revelations chapter 22, verse 12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have a right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gate into the city. For without are dogs and sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whoever loveth and make a lie. I, Jesus, have sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright and morning star. And the Spirit and the bride say, Come. And let him that hears say, Come. And let him that is thirsty come. And whoever will, let him take the water of life freely. For I testify unto every man that hear the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the words of this book of prophecy, God shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book. He which testifies these things say, Surely I come quickly. Amen. Ever so come, Lord Jesus. I can also relate this part of the lyrics to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., an American Baptist minister and activist who became the most visible spokesperson and leader in America for the civil rights movement. And during his speech, he once said,
Got some difficult days ahead, but it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Bob Marley's message also has always been that the father's children need to return to Africa and the world will be ruled by one government, Africa.
Bob, is the message of Rastafari that you should go back to Africa?
Yes, and that the earth must rule by Africa. Forward. One government. Forward, not back, forward. Ganja is a bird, this is herb.
Herb. Does it matter to you that it's still against the law here in Jamaica?
Every law is illegal.
Every law is illegal?
Every government upon the face of this earth today is illegal. Not one of them is legal.
He then sings a change again in the chorus, where the survivors, in this age of technological humanity, scientific atrocity, atomic misphilosophy, nuclear misenergy, it's a world that forces lifelong insecurity. So this part mentions miss, which refers to failure, technological humanity, scientific atrocity. Recently, it was mentioned that humans could live on Mars by 2030. You have astronauts training for this mission. So apparently 1 million humans will be living there by 2060, I believe. They also say that we're going to live on Mars and this will change the life on Earth forever. So to me, Bob Marley is foretelling the future again by letting us know that this missions is ungodly. It's ungodly missions, and we can all dream, but I don't think it's gonna prevail. So when we look at the Bible verse, Isaiah 5 verse 18, it says, "Woe to those who draw iniquity with cords of deceit and pull sin along with cart ropes." He is saying this is a world that forces lifelong insecurity. I probably would add on and say fear.
The Air Force, the people in power, the games they are playing with our lives. You can listen and read the complete transcript on this channel called The Last Interview with Bob Marley and the Wailers, where the Wailers are speaking about the government's priority has always been to buy gears for war rather than using money to feed starving people of the world.
Bob Marley then finishes off this song with the outro. Together now, we're the survivors. We're the survivors, yes, the black survivors. We're the survivors. A good man is never honored. In his own country, nothing changed, nothing strange. Nothing changed, nothing strange. We got to survive, yo. This song was released 3 years after Bob Marley getting shot in his own country where he was born, and then the killing of Mr. Peter Tosh, all occurring in their hometown. Bob Marley says nothing's changed and nothing is strange. However, Mr. Marley does leave us with the message that we've got to survive, people. Just like him say, we are the black survivors. Well, that's the end of my song review, guys. Hope you all enjoyed this one. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Share the light as always and join me on the next one. Take care. One love.